In these series of videos, and it being Global Rum Month, we are chatting with my friend Paul Chandeeraj, brand ambassador and more for Southeast Asia with Thai Bev and International Beverages. Their lineup includes Old Pulteney, Ball Blair, Speyburn Whiskies, and much more. But today, we are talking Phraya Rum. Its name, how it's made, symbolism on the bottle, and much more than that. Plus, I have guest commentator Nico Goco, a spirits enthusiast, a Whiskey Society of Manila member, and an all-around good guy. So, stay tuned. Paul, buddy, how's it going over there in Thailand? Bangkok, right?
Yes, of course. Always a pleasure. Always good. Always good. Life is treating me well.
That is great. It's like in the past, what you've done, masterclass with us. You've joined us for our Inuman forums. Because they're a bit of a forum, right? It's not just a drinking session, but it's info passed around.
It was actually one of the highlights of my week, working from home. I think every Wednesday I would actually pop in and have a drink with you guys. So it was always a good occasion to just to say hello to the guys. So yeah, I always enjoyed those sessions a lot.
Nice. And we have our longtime friend of the society and great drinker of drinks, Nico. Nico, how you doing, buddy?
Hey guys, doing fine. Yeah.
Good evening, Nico.
Good evening, Paul. Thanks for fixing this up for us, and thank you.
No worries. It's an absolute pleasure. Always a pleasure, never a chore, as they say.
Well, the Philippines, and I've heard this from so many brand ambassadors that it's one of their, in Southeast Asia, it's one of their favorite places to visit. And the people here are great. They're like great people to have classes with.
Yeah, so laid back because I've been lucky. I visited you guys probably about a couple of years back, and that was quite a memorable visit for me. I think when I met yourself and the guys there, I always find everyone was so friendly, laid back, and that's the kind of crowd that I like. We have a bit of banter, have a laugh, enjoy the each other's company. And enjoy the actual surroundings. You enjoy the conversation. You enjoy the whiskies or enjoy the rums. That for me is a perfect night. Spend it with like-minded people and enjoy.
I know other regions. I'm not going to say where. I don't want to ostracize them, but I know other regions tend to get a crowd that try to play stump the brand ambassador.
Don't worry, I get stumped all the time. I'll be the first one to put my hands up to it.
But I'm assuming the Philippines doesn't do that much, right?
Yeah.
When the last time I was there, everybody was well behaved and everyone was really, like I said, really enjoying the event. And that's all I could ask for. I think everyone was just really engaging and really interested in the actual product. At the time that I was presenting, which was our whiskey at the time. So. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. People really enjoy just the ambience, and the surrounding with the people.
That's great. Now, let's start a little bit about you personally. Brand ambassador. I know a lot of people, they want to become brand ambassadors, but right? That's just like, oh, you're into drinking, you get to go out and talk to people and travel. How did you get started in the industry? Personally?
Well, to be honest, I'm quite lucky actually. I've been working within the alcohol industry for 8 years. So I worked in the UK. Well, I grew up in the UK all my life pretty much, and worked for International Beverages since 2012. I was looking after more of the actual beer side, like the Thai spirits, the Mekong and Sang Som rums, those brands. And I had some really good luck, and they were looking for someone who had passion for, not just rums, but whiskey in general. And, the company just pretty much asked whether I wanted to move to Thailand and, work there. So I thought, why not? It's one of these things where you get one, one chance at life, and you always take it by the balls, by the horns. And that for me is what I did really. That was an opportunity that I couldn't really, I couldn't really say no to, being a brand ambassador within international beverages, being based in Thailand and traveling pretty much all over Southeast Asia. So, which is, it's a dream come true, really. People say to me, Paul, you're so lucky. All you do is drink. I'm like, no, I do a bit more than that, But, they see the glitz and the glamour side of things now, because they always see me like post on my IG or my Facebook that I'm traveling to this country and doing different tastings. They see the good side of things, but they don't see the other side of things where, as you know, Frank, you've been in the game for such a long time. There's the other side of the things that they don't see, the hard work. You do work throughout the night, and it's not just presenting. You have to look at numbers and stuff as well. So this is just part and parcel of the job in hand. But I wouldn't change it for the world. I am blessed to have a job that I really do have passion for and really enjoy. So that for me has just been a blessing, and I'm really glad that I've had that opportunity to do it. And now, being based in Thailand, it's just a really great place. I'm a stone's throw away from Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, all these great countries. So this is for me a perfect base for me to be set up at, and for me to travel the area.
Clear something up. You're Thai, right?
Yes, parents are Thai. My ethnicity, my roots are Thai, but my parents have lived in the UK for that. I'd say they lived since the 70s. So they were some of the first immigrants to the UK.
Wow.
Thai immigrants to the UK. So but like I said, Thai is always in my heart. I am what they call well, I actually call myself more like a bit of Tinglish. Tinglish is what I speak, Thai English. Yeah. So Thailand is always at my heart, and it's something that I would never forget. And that's why I'm actually really pleased that I'm actually now based in Thailand, living the Thai lifestyle, and actually really getting back to the roots and understanding the culture even more so. Growing up in the UK, the culture's slightly different. Well, not slightly, a whole lot different, as you'd know, growing up in the US. Being back here in Thailand, it has really opened my mind and get me connected back to my roots, which is brilliant. That's what I wanted to do. That's the reason why part of the reason why I moved back to Thailand. Get to familiarize myself with Thai culture more. So, which is great.
Wow. No. Yeah, I guess we're both similar in that sense, as I'm a half Filipino, half American, and obviously a lot of American culture is different than the Philippines, and of course it's more than like the food. Growing up on local food called adobo or lumpia, which is a type of egg roll. It's more the Philippines is more than that, but of course moving out here gave me that opportunity to see, and then now I guess I'm permanently moved in the Philippines. I guess I've set up way too much stuff just up and leave anymore. I have a whole business here.
Oh yeah, exactly. You've set your roots now, so you'd be hard to go back to the US. So that's the beauty of things. That's you've had the experience of living in both countries, and now you've set your roots here. It's brilliant. That's the beauty of moving around and experiencing new different cultures. So. Which we're lucky, Some people take it for granted, I think, but this is, I think we're very lucky.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Nico. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. How do you find the drinking culture in Southeast Asia? Because Asians have a bit of a bad rap for getting drunk too early, but I don't think so. Not with the Thais, not with the Filipinos.
Well, to be honest, I think. Drinking culture in different countries is always going to be different in the sense, if we go out, let's say back in the UK, I'd go out for a drink with my friends in a pub, drinking culture, what we would do, we'd go there, start drinking pints, drinking beers, lagers, bitters, and you probably stick to that all night. Whereas in Asia, that what I've always noticed that it's more that sharing kind of community where you go out, you buy a bottle and you share that bottle with your friends, whether it's a blended whiskey, or a single malt whiskey, or even a bottle of rum. That's where it differentiates. Where I think the Western kind of culture or the wet drinking culture is more like personal. You drink your own pints, and it's not as a sharing as such. Frank, you probably know the same. In the US, you probably have that same kind of mentality and culture. That for me, I think, which is great in Asia, where people really enjoy themselves. And like I said, you go out with a group of friends, you buy a couple of bottles and you share together. And that's the beauty, and that's really the enjoyment of the night out. But whereas, back in the UK, you have a couple of pints for yourself or your friends, and it's a different kind of atmosphere. So I think Asian is more of that sharing mentality, which is great.
It is. And I'm not sure about the UK, but US, bottles are expensive. You're looking at $300 for the bottle. Yeah. That's not including the table that you had to also put down money on. All of a sudden, you get one bottle and you're out $500 without, and that's it, just for one bottle on the table. So, here in the Philippines, it's a bit cheaper. Well, bars are closed right now, but you're looking at, you spend $100 and you get like a high top table, table for 4 or 5, but that's good enough. And you're just sharing with all your friends. You're having a good time.
Yeah. That's completely right. I totally agree. Even back in the UK, like when you go out clubbing with your friends, and I think some people like maybe buy one bottle of champagne and share between 20 people, but that's just, some people do that, some people don't. But I think I really enjoy the drinking culture in Asia. I really enjoy the getting together and just sharing. That's that really enjoyment I get from it.
No, for sure. That's the one thing I actually enjoy. No one minds as much, about sharing. Oh, here you go. A girl walks up to the table. Oh, sure. It's a good way to talk to someone without spending a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, we're not all. Well, I'm the only one that's not married, but I have a longtime girlfriend, so. That's the kind of stuff we don't do anymore,
No, exactly.
We don't do that. We don't do that anymore.
No, we're just reminiscing. No. Just reminiscing.
Yes, back in the days. Young, free, and single.
But that's a good perspective that you guys kind of have, that we don't necessarily, we take that for granted, the communal nature of drinking, because it's just normal for us. But I was kind of surprised to hear that it's more of that personal experience for when you're out drinking in the UK or in the States.
So I think it's always been like that. When I think back where I grew up in the UK, I grew up in a place called Epsom, Surrey, and the pubs were very localized, and all you get are local people from that area. And it's a very local pub. You go in there, everybody who drank there, all local people, and you have a drink with them. You say, right, Paul, have a pint on me. You just send over a pint or two, whatever, to your friends that and that's how they drank, really. You just have a drink with your friends and maybe a couple after work. And then when you come to the weekend, that's when the serious drinking starts. That's when you start really hammering down the pints or necking down some vodkas and some whiskey chasers. That then changes your perception and your mood of drinking that night. So it all depends on the night that you drink as well.
So I'm assuming then you're outside of whiskey or rum, from Interbev and Thai Bev. Would you say then your favorite drink would be a good old pint of something?
I do have a soft spot for a good pint of, pint of beer. I'm just, a nice bitter. I like a bitter. Growing up in the UK, the local pubs would have some really great local bitters. So I have a pint of bitters. So like I said, something easy.
Is that still something you do in Thailand or whatever? You're just like, what?
I only, to be honest, I'd rather, when I go back to the UK, when I go back home, that's when I drink more the local bitters. I prefer, because I don't think you can get the same kind of, the local lagers or bitters in Thailand. So I don't think the quality is the same. So that's why I'd rather go back to the same, my old local pub in in Epsom and just go and have a pint with my friends and just get that, you reminisce with your friends and enjoy that pint and enjoy that flavour. And that's the beauty of going to a pub for me. Every time I go back home, that's what I do. I would always say, right, I'm going to call my friends. Right, I'll see you down the pub. We're going to have a few pints, then we'll go to the local Indian curry house and we'll sit there for the night and have a Indian food and some more Indian lager. And that was one of the nights out that I'd always do when I go back to the UK. But that's something I couldn't really do in Thailand because it's a different mindset and mentality. That's the thing. So yeah, I always drink more spirits in Thailand, but when I go back to the UK, beers and lagers, and that's what I'd do.
The expat pubs don't have that feel, because we have a lot of expat pubs here, and
yeah. I know what you mean. I know that feeling. What you're going to say. It seems like it is, but it's just not right. For me, when I think of a pub, I think of a traditional pub back in my town, where, like I said, I would go in there after work. I'd just see my mate. I'd just give him a nod and say, I'll just give him a nod, and he knows I'm going to send a pint down to him. Yeah. And vice versa. It just, you just know the people. You go up, rock up to the pool table, have a game of pool with your mates, and just have a couple pints. That was life. That was simple. That was it. That's for me, what I remember of a good pub. Whereas if you go to the pub, whether it's in the Philippines or in Thailand, it's different. It's a different atmosphere. That's the thing with these places. It's all to do with atmosphere for me.
Yeah, let's not talk about those kind of expats that can go to those kind of. That's a different episode, not for recording. But you know what? Why don't we start talking a little bit about rum and all this stuff? This is...
Yeah, of course.
Now, I remember, I think you weren't around last year when the last time I had this before, I guess yesterday, maybe today. Your boss, Rowan, was in town, and Danny.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Had a conversation. So me and Leonard, we went around with Rowan, different bars and whatever. So that was the first time, I think it was October last year, when I had this fine little beauty. I first off, you gotta love the design. I mean, yes. Right? I mean, it's the gold latticing, which we'll talk about later. I mean, Phraya, all that. But let's just start off, though.
It was very striking.
Oh,
if you feel of the bottle, the actual cuff, that metal cuff, that's all done by hand. So really, the craftsmanship with the bottling and the actual the rum itself, it's just really unique.
I gotta do the un-Filipino thing and take off the plastic.
That is what you're meant to do. Every time I go out to any bars and I get a hold of the bottle, every time I always rip the plastic off, because the beauty of the bottle is meant to be shown, and you want to see the metal cuff shining, and that's it, not behind the plastic wrapping paper.
No, make sure you get this nice in 4K. The 4K camera now, especially for you.
Oh, wow.
That's right. So yeah, beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
What does the gold latticing mean? What is that about?
Okay, so the actual Phraya itself, the name Phraya, if you know Thai, the Thai language, Phraya actually means of a higher rank. So what we wanted to do was have a name that really represents our rum, because Phraya is an aged gold rum. So this is really, really special. This is aged for 7 to 12 years in ex-American bourbon casks. So we wanted to produce this really great, amazing gold rum, aged gold rum. So we wanted a name that really, befits the rum itself. And Phraya is what we came up with, and it just really means of a higher rank. It's the most highest rank that is bestowed on a person, which can't be any higher than that. That's just really proof in the pudding with the name. And what you're saying about the cuff itself, this metal cuff, it's all done, manually. Everything, it's all hand bottled. This is the beauty of the actual rum itself. In the actual distillery where these are all getting bottled, these are all done by hand, and the bottling is done by hand by maybe 6 to 7, 8 aunties. And these aunties take meticulous care and attention and detail to, hand filling these bottles, putting all the stickers and the cuffs on by hand. And the actual cuff itself, all these different logos on this actually represents the 4 elements. So, Asia, we were really strong in the Asian elements: earth, water, fire, and air. So that's very a strong belief that we have in Asia. So why is it important for us? With the actual rum itself, Phraya, our inspiration comes from these 4 elements. So as you know, earth is very important in the case that because the rum that we produce, Phraya, the main base of the rum is actually molasses. So you may or may not know that Thailand is one of the biggest sugar producing countries in the world. I think we're the second biggest exports of sugar. So that means we are really producing really, really great quality sugarcane. So it's grown in the central belt of Thailand in Nakhon Pathom, which is about 1 hour west of Bangkok, if you've ever been. And, Frank, even if Nico, if you ever come to Thailand, I'm more than happy to take you guys to our distillery to even look at these. So yeah, we got really great quality sugarcane, which is grown in these rich, fertile soil in the central belt of Thailand, and that's where earth is important. So if you have good earth, you're growing great quality sugarcane, which in turn really creates really good quality molasses. And then water is another important part. Where our distillery sits in Nakhon Pathom, it sits alongside a local river called the River Tajin. So the water that we use at the distillery for distillation is used from that local river, which is deionized, which is really soft, pure water that we use. So that's important. And fire is very key. As we know, for any kind of spirit that is produced, one of the most important is maturation, and especially with this rum. As I mentioned, this rum is matured for 7 to 12 years in oak casks. And these aren't just normal oak casks, these are ex-bourbon casks. As you know, Frank, bourbon casks, the quality and the quality of the characteristics, what you get from these casks is, really just stands out. So before any of the spirit is actually matured, each cask is refired. So what you're getting is you're putting life back into the actual wood. So you're reinvigorating that wood. So you're getting more of that really kind of intensity, that real kind of caramel, burnt sugar, sweet, vanilla, honey characteristics. That's just from the cask. And also, lastly but not least, is air. What with our rum being matured, that maturation process is key. As you know, Frank, or Nico as well, 70 to 80% of a spirit's characteristics really derives from that cask. And that maturation process, that period of 7 to 12 years, if you're maturing these rums in such a hot country, especially in Thailand or even the Philippines, we all know about the angel shares, right? Yeah. We lose about 8 to 10% of volume by every year. That angel share really just goes up in the air pretty much, as you know. So what we try to do is if you can help control that temperature, because our distillery sits by the river, you get fresh wind blowing into the distillery, into the warehouse. And what's also unique is that where our warehouse sits, we have actually dug down 4 meters into the ground, and it actually becomes like a basement pretty much. And as you know, you walk down 4 meters, it becomes a lot cooler. So like a wine cellar, as you know, a wine cellar keeps things really cool. So we're trying to use that kind of idea and techniques. So that's the deep maturation technique that we use. So that, that really plays an important part for it to sit, mature, develop all these characteristics that you get. So that's where that air really helps develop the characteristics of the actual rum that we produce. So that's the inspiration, and that's where that cuff and the design of the cuff comes from, the 4 Asian elements.
Wow.
How long has Phraya been around? How long has it been the distillery?
So
How,
Phraya actually was been around since 2011.
Okay.
So 2011, the actual distillery started bottling these rums, and it was actually exported to the US and also to Eastern Europe as as more so than to the actual domestic market. So I think the domestic market, we only started selling, I think, probably about in 2012, 2013, which were more for the actual duty-free market, for a gift for people to take back home with them. But I think what you've noticed, I think within the last 4 to 5 years is when Phrya's really gained traction and really started to export more. And you're now seeing this more readily available in Philippines, in Malaysia, Singapore, Japan and China, and Europe as well. France, England, the US as well. All this is now really gaining traction, and that's really where it started its life. But the actual distillery where we produce Phraya, it's been producing rums since 1977, so over 40 years. And the guys that work at this distillery all have nothing but real passion for the job that they do. Frank, you've probably been to many distilleries, and you speak to the guys that work at distilleries. They're not there to pick up a paycheck. They really have honest. They have nothing but passion for the job that they do. That for them is not just work. It's their lifestyle. Is what they do and what they have. They do enjoy doing. So that's the real beauty of this distillery, having these people with great experience and passion.
What makes Phraya Rum different than the other brand? Some of the other brands. Obviously, most people when they think of rum, they think of the Caribbean. Captain Jack Sparrow, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Right, but they don't think of Thailand or Asia as a rum market. But I mean, tell you, man. I mean, revisiting this again, absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of this rum. I think what we find is the quality and character of this is really great, and I think what people will start to notice that this rum that we're producing, what makes it stand out, of course, is from the actual, the great quality sugarcane that we grow, that we use to make the molasses, till the process of distillation that we use. It's been double distilled, and through to the actual the cask that we use to mature these rums. This is the key importance of the actual rum itself. And I think people are starting to take notice of spirits that are being produced in Asia in general now. We're picking up so many awards from, of course we know the Japanese whiskies, Taiwanese whiskies, Indian whiskies, and nowadays rums are being produced in Thailand, Philippines. All this are really great quality stuff that we're producing. And luckily for us, Phraya, that you have the Phraya Gold, this is an award-winning rum, which we are very proud to have won this big award at the World Rum Awards in 2016, I believe. We had a gold award. Just shows you that people really do appreciate the quality of this rum. And I think people really starting to take note. It's not just say that the best rums come from the Caribbean, but now you're getting some really great rums from Asia. So that's the beauty of being here, being in this industry, and being able to taste these different wonderful spirits that are being made here.
Oh, totally. I mean, Nico, what do you think about it? I mean, it is International Rum Month, so us at Liquor PH, we're trying to do more. But from your perspective, what are your thoughts on this rum that I sent him a sample? I wanted a little medicine bottle. His little medicine bottle. So, what's your thoughts on this one, man? This is
So I was very pleasantly surprised with the taste. So with the nose, it's kind of like very reminiscent of other rums that I've had. But once you have a sip of it, you know it's Asian right away. I just gotta say that you know it's Asian right away. It has that characteristic of, I don't know how to put it, but for me when I tasted it immediately at the finish, what I tasted was what we have this local baked good. We call the coconut macaroons. It's
Ah,
not a
okay.
macaron, but it's a macaroon. Basically,
Yeah.
it's from any side street bakery here. It has desiccated coconut. It's baked in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Something like this
Yeah.
after,
Yeah.
so it's so good.
Yeah. Nico, I'm glad that you brought up that coconut. This is something really strange. Everybody asks me, like, where does all these different scents and notes come from? People sometimes think we would put these kind of, flavorings in and stuff. It's all natural. This is the beauty of it. This is the beauty of using these great casks. I always go back to the cask, which is, Frank, you've been to many distilleries, and one of the key things that I always notice, especially when I walk around where we produce Phraya, the first thing that you notice is the real big smell of coconuts.
Yes.
And that's because of that wood, that kind of, that coconutty characteristics is like that damp kind of, damp kind of sweetness that you get. So that is from that cask, and that's the beauty of it. So that's really great that you picked up that characteristics, because I think with the actual rum itself, this, what I can say wholeheartedly say about the actual rum, this Phraya Gold, is that it's all natural color, and we don't add any caramel, and there's no added sugar. So everything is how it is, from the molasses that we use through to the color from the cask that we use as well.
Well,
That's great. That's
yeah.
great. It's all natural, man.
I'm so glad to hear that. I mean, I'm always tiptoeing when it comes to rums, because I look at it this way. I understand. I mean, when some rums have been around for generations and they've been adding molasses back in for coloring, maybe for the added flavoring.
Yeah.
I'm not one to judge on those older rums doing that.
Yeah.
But me, I personally I want the flavor to really come out of the process and not because of adding something back in.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear, that's what I was thinking about, how am I going to ask it without offending? Oh, you guys add something in.
No, this is the thing this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to highlight the natural products that we use, that sugarcane that we use, that really produce this really great, thick, sweet, succulent molasses, which in turn then really creates this great rum that we're tasting. The color, that wood characteristics really shines through from the color, that richness, that vanilla. You get vanillin coming from the actual wood, the American oak. So that vanilla note is coming through, that coconutty characteristics. That's all the beauty of these different casks that we use. And the casks that we use are all hand-selected casks. And what's the beauty of these hand-selected casks is they're all air-dried casks. There's a kind of a relationship with how we use these different casks. Some of these casks that come over from the US, some are, air-dried for 18 months, like the ones that we use. Some would probably maybe have just been kiln dried, which for us, we wanted to use hand selected, air dried naturally. And that for us makes, our rum just that little bit more tasty.
Yeah, that seems to be a mark of great quality makers, is to use the air dried. Yeah, if it takes 18 months, 2 years, 3 years to let it cure in the elements.
Exactly, naturally. That's for us, is that is key. You're not rushing anything. That's the beauty of this. Though that's the reason why, even for us, we age this for 7 to 12 years. We don't have an age statement on it, but we want to make sure that we are making a really great quality rum.
Well, this is Asia, so I mean, if you're looking, I don't want to put an exact date, but I would say, if you compare to Scotland, right? If Scotland is 1, I would say the US is ×2. I would say Asia is either 2.5 to 3 as far as aging speed.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I mean, Liquor PH, we have a few different rums.
Yeah.
it does taste like a rum that we have that's either 20 or 23 years old. I will wholeheartedly say that. I was drinking one last night, Nico. You know that I was drinking a 20 rum, and I would put that up. I had a 23-year-old rum this afternoon, not this morning.
Well, if you said in the morning, I'd actually still believe you.
We don't judge here. It's all right.
Brush your teeth with the rum.
Yeah.
You guys know me. I mean, that's what I do.
It's work. It's work, man.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, 7 to 12 years is right on, and you can taste it, and it's amazing. It tastes really aged, but it's not.
Yeah, I think what I need to give props to is the actual team at the distillery. That is one thing I have so much respect for the guys there, and especially the master blender. You know, the master blender has done a really great job. You know how hard it is to blend anything in a good way, and he has done a brilliant job with this Phraya Rum. He's done above and beyond. I think he's done a great job. And, I pay a lot of respect to the guys there. So I always say cheers to these guys as well, You
got to. I mean, these guys, these master blenders, they can't smoke.
Exactly.
They don't really eat spicy food much. Right? They got to keep their $1 million palates
yeah, of course.
as neutral as possible.
Definitely.
I think it's a testament. It's really a testament to how serious you guys are about rum. So every taste of this, you know how hard the guys there work.
Yeah.
You know how hard they work.
Well, this is the beauty of things. I think for me, I have real passion for these different spirits. I think I respect the people that work at these different distilleries, and each process of the process of actually making these spirits. It's an art form. I find it's quite beautiful in that sense. It's not just a case of this. Just open this bottle and just drink it. I would think, wow, it's taken X amount of time for this whiskey, this rum to get to this table. From the process of all the mashing or the distillation to the maturation, whatever it is. There's you have to respect that art. I find it's like an art form. I think it sounds a bit silly, but I do respect that as an art. I respect everybody in these distilleries that really put the heart and soul into these spirits that they're making, and especially for this is this rum. So that's the other side of things that people may take for granted.
Yeah. In 2011, right, Phraya was created, but why? I mean, why get into this not easy market?
Well, to be honest, Thailand has always been producing a rum of some sort, whether it's a local white rum to a dark rum. Some of you may or may not know, Thai Bev, have many brands, and we have some very big localized spirits. And we produce some of the biggest spirits by volume in the world. So we have a local white spirit, Rung Cow it's called. I think it was probably at one point the second best selling by volume in the world. And then we have a local brown spirit called Hong Tong, which is made from all molasses based. And that was voted the 8th best selling by volume in the world. So it just shows you Thailand has always been producing, localized spirits, much like yourselves in the Philippines. You guys have lots of localized spirits using local products, and not many people know, but there is a lot of volume there, and historically, Thailand has an abundance of sugarcane. What do you want to do with it? Of course, you make something alcoholic. I think even with the actual history of rum itself, it's quite vague. So I think from my understanding of rum, the actual early signs of rum was actually produced in China and India. So where they was using, they were producing sugarcane wine or juice, let's say, fermenting these juices. And that was pretty much the first case of kind of rums that were done. But of course, we know that traditionally the rums became more popular worldwide because of the British Navy. You know, I think when the British Navy colonized the parts of the Caribbean, like Jamaica and stuff, I think, as some of you may know, that traditionally the seamen, the Navy, would be given drinks of brandy to work, on the boats. But because they were stationed in Jamaica and the Caribbean, they had an abundance of rum, so it changed. So that's why Navy rum became so popular, and that's why rum became popular worldwide, because the British Navy were the people that were exploring the world and traveling the world and bringing all these rums to these different parts of the world. India, Asia, that's the reason why. So, but, I think it's all to do with historic, what you have at home in your home country, whether you've got rich abundance of sugarcane or rich abundance of rice. People are making, local spirits from rice. It depends on that country. But yeah, going back to your question about why did we produce the Phraya Rum in 2011, is because we have been making these really great rums for such a long time. And the master blender has been keeping stock in these wonderful American bourbon casks for so many years. And I kid you not, he's got some very, very old rums tucked away, 20 years plus. And I've been lucky enough to taste them, and they are absolutely superb. So yeah, that's the reason why I think it was the right time. I think just what we want to showcase, we want to showcase what Thailand can do. And producing this really premium, high quality rum was one of the reasons why we brought out Phraya.
Now, we don't have it here yet, but we're going to be talking soon, because obviously Liquor PH, we have to get ready for reordering eventually, because that's what we have to do. It's called business. You guys, Phraya has another rum that just came out more recently called Phraya Elements, right?
That's correct. I have this bottle here.
Oh.
So this is like the baby brother. So the light's probably a bit too. So this is the new bottling of Phraya. Okay. It's slightly different from the original Phraya Gold. So this is a bit more modernized, but we really want to make sure that people it stands out. It still has that quality feel. Right. So this is our new Phraya Element. So even though this has been out for only a few months really, we actually sent this out to be to one of the awards, and it came back. We actually just recently won a double gold award at the World Spirit Competition at San Francisco World Spirit Competition. Oh. So just shows you, we are producing some really great spirit, and this rum just shows you the quality. So yeah, that we are really happy that Phraya Elements has been well received internationally, and we want to showcase that even more so.
Yeah, because the San Francisco Spirits Competition, that's legit. It's no joke. If you win a double gold there, that means a lot.
Yeah, so I think we are really, really happy with that. So we're happy. Just really, I think we're just really proud. Let's say we're proud to represent Asia in that sense. Now we're really producing really great spirits in Asia. So we want to make a statement. We are here to stay, and we want to continue to make really great spirits, not just rums, could be gins, whiskey, all of that. We're proud. What I want to say, we want to represent Asia. Bring Asian spirits to the forefront.
Okay. So you're saying it's just a little bit younger. Same juice, just a little bit younger.
Yes. So the Phraya Elements, it's slightly younger. It's still an aged gold rum. Mix of blends from the distillery, different batches they have hidden around. So, but that's, like I said, it's just, if you taste the actual Phraya Elements, the quality is there. You still have that great quality rum, but it's just slightly younger. You're still a bit more spirit forward in that sense. So, but yeah, you still great quality. And what I would say is that for Phraya Elements, it's a good rum for mixing cocktails. Whereas if with Phraya Gold, this is good to drink as is with some ice, perfect. So it's just a nice sipping rum. But yeah, Phraya Elements is good for a good cocktail as well.
Oh, yeah. So on both spirits,
Yeah.
what cocktail? If you're gonna mix into a cocktail, what kind of cocktail would you prefer to see it in for yourself?
Well, to be honest, I do have a soft spot for a rum cocktail, and it's really basic. I like a daiquiri. I like a daiquiri. I like that sweet and sour element of the daiquiri, and I think that really suits a really nice rum. And that is, for me, is why I enjoy with Phraya. But with Phraya itself, we do have some real great signature cocktails, which were thought up by some really big name mixologists from Thailand. So we do have some like signature cocktails that we have been using with Phraya. But for me, a really nice simple daiquiri works a treat.
Nice. How about you, Nico? What kind of rum cocktail are you digging into?
Well, I think this would make a perfect colada because you don't need to add
Yeah.
coconut anymore. Just
Exactly,
pineapple,
pina
raspberry.
colada. Yes, that. Yeah,
Yeah, man. But yeah, it's yeah, that's it. That's really it. Any kind of juice, any tropical juice, any Asian fruit juice goes well with this. Mango with this,
yes.
that's fantastic.
Pineapple as well. Pineapple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
With this actual rum itself, there is that citrus sweetness, and it does have like a twang, like a really ripe, sweet pineapple. So
Yes.
something with a pineapple-based rum cocktail would work a treat with this as well. But I'm glad Nico brings up about that coconut characteristics. That's something really present on the nose of this. Is the beauty of this rum.
It's what I think makes it a good drink to have with meals because
like a digestive.
Yes, or
yeah,
I can totally see it. Taking it with a normal Filipino dinner, or just have a little gathering with friends, have a shared meal together. This is on the table. This cuts through any of the rich, oily food that we have in the Philippines.
Yeah.
It's nice, it's soft, it's sweet, just the right balance for a meal. So, yeah, but in Thailand, what do you think this would pair well with in the Thai cuisine?
Well, to be honest, I think because of that you get that real sweetness. I think anything like a dessert was always nice with this. I find this would be really good with a dessert.
Oh.
Not a traditional Thai. You get some traditional Thai like a creamy coconutty custard, and this and a caramel would be perfect.
I was thinking that type of coconut custard. Ooh, in the U.S., I grew up with coconut custard pie. I don't know if you guys have had this, but it is amazing. So yeah. Oh, it's too bad I don't.
Making me hungry.
Oh, this is the only sugar I get is rum, distilled sugar.
It's all natural sugar as well. Don't forget, is it?
Yeah, right. Yeah. By the way, I'm having a pseudo rum highball now. I put a little rum, put a little bit of Thai soda. Not your brand, but it makes an amazing highball.
Sometimes, I think just keeping it simple, I think, is also key as well sometimes, especially if you have a good quality rum like this. I always find, just a simple, highball or just with ice, perfect. Yeah. Even maybe if you want to be fancy, let's say, some orange peels, just the twist of orange peel, just get that kind of citrus note coming through. That would be perfect. Keep it simple.
I'm too lazy. I have orange bitters. Boom, boom.
Okay, fair enough. Orange bitters.
I can imagine actually having a nice long night with friends, just drinking this and having a bit of meats on sticks on the grill. Because last time I was in Thailand, there was it
barbecue.
Really
you can't go wrong with barbecue.
Street food, the street food barbecue that you have there.
Well, so good. Bangkok has the best.
The Philippines too. Yeah.
Well,
one of the best. Oh yeah. But I do enjoy Philippine food as well. So when I was in the Philippines, I was taken around by actually Danny and took me some really nice places to eat, and one of my favorite foods to have from the Philippines is I think it was it's the pork dish that you guys have. It's lechon, I think.
Lechon, of
John.
course.
I'm like a basic man. Give me meat,
Yeah.
crispy pork, and that's me done. I'm like in heaven, and that is for me. When I think of Philippines, I think lechon.
Yeah, especially the
That
fat.
just
Yeah.
an adobo, I think it was. It
Adobo,
took me yeah. That was the thing that really reminds me of Philippines. It's just food and drink.
Yeah, I mean, that's we export that well.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you some industry questions. You know, you've been
Yes.
around a while. With everything that's going on with the world, I mean, it's general, but it's not this kind of question. Like, what do you see happening in the industry? Like trends. I mean, now that we have to deal with this brand new type of world. I mean,
Yes, well, the new normal, as they call it.
yeah,
So I think at the moment with the industry as it is, I think especially the on-trade industry is really suffering a lot because, as you know, most bars still aren't open 100%, and even if they are open, they can only function maybe 40-50% capacity. And, you know, that for them is really hard. You know, you got your overheads to cover, your staff, you know, your electric and all of that to cover, which sometimes it's not workable for them. And I've seen a lot of places, a lot of bars and, you know, restaurants closing down because of that. So I think new normal, I think people are, looking to drink more at home. I think that's the way it is at the moment. I think people are still quite scared to go out to have a drink in public. So I think we are still facing that problem. And what I see is that, you know, the industry would only get stronger within the actual online business, which I've heard some rumors that Philippines are looking to, you know, to ban. I'm like thinking that is terrible.
no,
You know,
yeah, that article.
it's one of those things. It's hard on everybody, and I think the trend is to, I think, look at new ways of actually being able to actually get hold of the alcohol. If you're losing online sales, how are you going to get it? You have to go to the supermarkets, and sometimes you had that at some point where the supermarkets, you couldn't buy alcohol because it was banned.
Yeah.
You know, some of that happened as well. So it's a really hard bit for us at the moment. So this is something that we all need to kind of like stick together and like support each other. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing. So I think the trend is just, you know, if you can open your business and you can open your bar up, I think people will still come, of course. But I think how people drink will change in that aspect of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the country really needs to take note and, you know, make sure what they plan has to be, you know, you have to consider the people that work in the industry, because end of the day, the people that work in the industry are, you know, hundreds of thousands of people. Their livelihoods are on the line. People who really will, you know, they won't have anything to, you know, they wouldn't have anything to live on, feed the family if this industry goes away. So I think, you know, people need to make sure that they have to look at this industry and make sure it gets propped up well. So I think the trend wise, it's hard to actually predict what will happen, but I think other parts of the world, I think what you notice, the big companies are really focusing on the online business now. So they're pulling like maybe budget from what they would do, like the on-trade market. Then they would be pumping that in for the online business. So that's something that you'd notice more, people doing online marketing more.
Yeah. When I'll say, I think, you know, you read, you know, the Philippines was, you know, like someone from the Department of Finance was mentioning how they want to ban or whatever online sales. I think that's a knee-jerk reaction to, there's been an influx of these random online sellers, not legal,
No, exactly.
Right? They're, these random people. And I understand everyone needs to make money. I mean, I don't
Yeah, exactly.
blame them for trying. When I started Liquor PH over 2.5 years ago now, we did it legally. We got the permits, we paid our taxes, we did everything legit. And we're now even making sure all IDs are being checked. Even before, it was just making sure if they had PayPal or credit card, whatever, check the ID, just to make sure it's not a false thing. So now we're gonna be checking IDs. I think for them, it's just all about making sure people are doing it right and paying their taxes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, unfortunately, with the Philippines, as we've talked in the past, they did lock down alcohol bans on a per city basis. So I think 5 or 6 weeks, Nico? Is that right? Something like that.
Longer, I think.
Something. It was a long time.
Long time.
And in Makati, the only place where it was legal, thank goodness, because Liquor PH was able to run during that time and pay our employees. They had to work from home. There's no way they could get to the office, but because they worked, we were able to pay them, right?
Yes, exactly.
Luckily.
That's what I think. I think whoever it is, they need to be mindful of all the people that in this industry that really, need support this time of this crisis. I think they really need to have a good, clear think of what they want to do and make sure that that people don't suffer as much. I think that's really key at the moment.
Yeah, no, for sure. Unfortunately, the city of Makati, where we pretty much stay and we take you guys out, they are closing down bars again because they weren't social distancing. So they say no outdoor drink, no drinking outside your home. So that goes. It's about being creative, right? I think for us now, we understand rum is a bit of a tougher category in the Philippines just because they're used to lower priced rums.
Yeah.
The quality, I would safely say maybe much of the quality isn't the same as Phraya. But without bars, it's kind of hard to say, hey, people, go to your favorite bar and try it out, then buy the whole bottle from us.
Yeah.
So we have to be more creative.
Exactly.
Right? These online master classes, online drinking inuman, as we hit forums. And now, I mean, with us Liquor PH, we are doing rum bundle samplers.
Yeah.
I
saw your post earlier on today.
Yeah, that's my hand, pouring the rum.
I recognize the hand anywhere.
Yes. Yeah, but I mean, we got to do that kind of stuff, right? I mean, we have to be creative. I mean,
yeah, of course.
You have to be creative, doing your classes, right?
Yeah. Like I said, everything's it's all, I think, online is so readily available. It's all at everybody's fingertips, whether it's from a phone or a laptop, notebook, whatever it is, it's all readily available on the palm of your hands. So that's what we need to really engage people with. So I think what you guys have been doing with these different masterclass and your midweek sessions, this is great. I think this is what we need to keep doing. I think just have a platform for people to sit, chat, socialize. We might not be able to get down to the pub together, but at least we're trying to make sure we're in that kind of atmosphere where we're sitting, chatting, talking about what we enjoy. That's the beauty of it, and that's what I think you guys are doing really well, and I think that's what we need to keep doing. So for future trends, this is the new normal. So I'll say, right, Frank, let's have a drink next week. I'll put the laptop on at 9. See you then. So that's for us is the new drink. So all I need to do is I go, here, cheers, mate, and you pour yourself a drink, and I do the same. That is the new normal now. Whereas if we were out in the pub, that'd be different. So this is the new normal. That's the way we have to think of things. Be creative.
Nico, is your wife complaining about your Wednesday evenings? Midnight. You're still drinking.
No. It's all good. Thankfully, she understands that we all need our outlets, and
exactly.
This right here, this is the future, because the samplers that you get, it's really gonna wake everybody up to better tasting.
I think that is a great thing to do. I think, like you said, some people aren't always willing to go out and buy a whole bottle if they've never tried it before, and sometimes going to the bar isn't, you're not able to go to the bar, so getting a little sample is always good. I think that's a great way of doing things. That, like I said, that's a new way of presenting the product and letting people try it, sending out these samples. And what you guys are doing, where if you buy this sampling set, you get some discount on the actual big full set as well. So I think that is, for us, is the new normal. This is how we have to do things. So like I said, be creative is key, and that's what you guys are doing, which is great.
And to let everyone know out there, I mean, oh yeah, look, it's Frank's hand pouring, but guess what I have to do? I had to boil the bottles. Well, first soak them in, like soap and water, and then after I soak it, rinse it. Then after I rinse it, then boil the glass for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not to get these things ready.
Painstakingly time-consuming.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, thank goodness I have a big aluminum pot where I can stick in 100 bottles at a time, and I have a very patient mother.
Yeah, you have the Asian dim sum steamer at your house, I think.
It's got a 10 level one.
Yeah, the level one.
Oh, man, now I wish I would have that. Now I'm thinking.
But yeah, I think that's the way forward. Well-curated selections of samples.
Yeah.
It'll tide us over until we can get to meet again, and we will.
Yeah,
we will get to physically meet.
Yeah,
again.
Exactly. Definitely.
Any other future trends and developments you see, either with the industry or maybe not necessarily online, but maybe what you're seeing with spirits itself?
Okay. I think I think at the moment, I think the gin craze is suddenly kind of slowed down. I think everyone's kind of gone through that phase now, but I think the real thing that's coming in, I think rum is that new thing. And what I can safely say is that you notice more specialist rum bars popping up. So that means people really starting to, try to explore the different rums that are around, from the Caribbean to Asian rums. All of this is really important. I think this is the new big thing. Rums, will take over. And like I said, if you go to Singapore, there's some really great specialist rum bars, and even Philippines, you've got some good rum bars as well. So, even in Thailand, there's some really good rum bars. So you notice now people are really taking note of some wanting to try great quality rums. And what I find is that what I've also noticed is the trend of actually promoting Asian spirits and Asian rums, Asian flavors. And that is something I really do admire, what these mixologists are doing. So, Frank, you've been to Singapore, right?
Of course. Love it.
Have you ever been to a bar called Native Bar before?
No, I have not.
So Native it's a really great bar, and it's, in one of Asia's 50 best. And what the guys that do, I really, appreciate and respect, is that the only spirits they have are all local spirits made in Singapore, Thailand, India, everything all local. And they would only use local herbs, spices, and fruits. So they're really just representing and presenting Asia. And that's what I think sometimes we need to do. We should be proud of our Asian heritage. And that is what I'm really seeing now, a real trend in, using local ingredients more. And that's what I really want to see more of. So, in Thailand, especially, what we've been doing is, especially with Phraya, because of the lockdown, what we've done is getting the local bartenders from all around the Thailand to be involved in a little campaign that we did, was to using, local herbs, spices, and really create something that's local. And people who has the most engagement, likes, all of that comments would win money, which would be help them support through their hard times. So this is the thing about us. We wanted to just really represent our local authenticities, local herbs, spices, and that's what I think the future of the industry would be. I think they're going to really be proud to present local herbs and spices and local ingredients, local spirits, And that's what I really can see. And rum is the new big thing that I personally think is going to happen.
Wow. Yeah, wow. I think we covered the gamut. I mean, do we have to anything else in this? Wow, we've talked a lot. Not gonna lie, it's been about an hour and 10 minutes. It's a good talk. I mean, I always have a good conversation with you, Paul. Nico, you are my color commentator guest for the day. You have any questions?
Well, actually, just wanted to point out that it's nice that Paul said pairing this with local stuff, because I'm actually pairing this with an Asian chocolate, the Malagos
Oh, wow.
Davao chocolate. I picked this up this morning. So it's really good when you have this with this rum, because it becomes like a dessert on its own. The
Yeah.
flavors marry, and I think my question would be, when are you really gonna come here to the Philippines for this rum, and start, because I really think that we will love it, because
Yeah.
it's a drinking rum. It's like, it's not for cocktails. It's a sipping rum. It's a rum that you can take deep.
Definitely.
It's very solid. So yeah, we're hoping that you come here soon for this.
Like I said, whenever that border opens, I'm going to be on the first plane out of Thailand. I'm scratching to leave Thailand at the moment. As a job as a brand ambassador, I travel pretty much every week. I'm traveling somewhere, and for me, being locked up at home for looks like 5 months now, this is like I'm scratching to get out. I need to get out. So whenever the planes are ready, I will be there.
Yeah. Well, I guarantee that we're going to have lots of Phraya when you come out, and lots of Paul Blair, lots of everything. I love you. You know what? There is no one of your spirits that Liquor Page carries I do not enjoy.
Well, that's what we like. I think, like I said, the guys that work in these different distilleries are heroes. They've been producing these great spirits, and I think they really deserve the clap and a clap on the back for the hard work they do and to produce these great spirits that we drink. So yeah, I have nothing but respect for these guys.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just have to, one thing I forgot to do, which I need to talk to Leonard about, is, well, anyone that's going to be watching these podcasts or whatever, will get a special discount for the rest of the month on Phraya. We just have to make sure it's as low price as possible, because, they get a reward. Because, my opinion on any spirit, any great quality spirit, is, why have it on the shelf and collect dust?
Exactly.
Right? Like, if I could get this out to the public, let them taste it themselves and see how good this is, then that's why I'm here. This is why, your company and my company have now partnered to really bring and show the world what your company is all about. That's why we're talking right now, right? I mean,
yeah.
So now I have more work to do. Well, as you said, we're working at night. Like, I'm sure Nico sees this I'm sure you see some of my posts, 1 in the morning, 12 in the morning. Social media is my job.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, but anyone out there who's listening, watching, whatever, I'm not sure where I'm going to put the promo code. Maybe at the end, maybe at the beginning, whatever, but they will have a promo code, and this will be as cheap as possible for the rest. Sorry, as low cost as possible, because this is a high quality rum. It's cheap means quality. Yeah. But this will be as low cost as possible, because I want to make sure it gets out to the world. This is my, Paul, I love what I do, and I love your rum. I love your product. So. Thanks, no, I'm just glad you're able to talk to us today, to take a time out of your busy schedule at nighttime.
No, it's always a pleasure. I always enjoy coming on and having like a chat with you guys. Like I said, I used to do like weekly sessions, and every time I do, even a chat, it's always nice just to, like I said, what I enjoy is just to speak with like-minded people, and that's the enjoyment I get out of it. So for me, this isn't work. This is just a few guys having a sit down, chat, talk about some some great quality spirits, and that's what it's about. So it's not a work. It's, like I said, always a pleasure, never a chore. So that for me is my mantra. So
awesome. And Nico, anything else you want to add, say, whatever? This is your chance, buddy.
Kind of blanked out because of the rum. I ran out, so I ran out immediately, and all I can think about
right,
is
Frank.
I
Frank,
need
get on
more.
the bike.
I need more.
Frank, get the bike out to Nico.
Yeah, right. I know. But before curfew ends. Before curfew.
Let's try
Oh,
to.
you guys still on curfew as well?
We still
They're
have.
not lifted.
It was 8 p.m. Now it's 10 p.m. in most cities.
Yeah, contracted,
wow.
but it's not lifted, not totally lifted.
No. And,
What do we do?
yeah, we won't get into politics. I have my own opinion on what's going on, which I'll tell you in a moment, not while we're recording. But anyways, guys, just down for a few minutes, Paul. But guys, thank you for listening. I'm going to end this now, and hopefully you get that good promo. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys. Cheers, and cheers, guys.